Hello everyone, I am Ziming Wang. This report is for the research, designing fingerprint recognition-based access control for electronic medical record systems. At the first, the research is talking about the background and the introduction. Nowadays, the medical information transferred between medical agencies by electronic medical record systems. And these systems also provides a high level of convenience both for the hospital and the patients. But there is a problem that the information recorded in the system of the patients or hospitals is private. So how to keep the privacy security is very important. The electronic signature technology is the most common method to protect private information. But this method also faces the problem of failed to protect private information. And in that case, fingerprint authentication is needed to be used to prevent the problems. So, what is the problem of the existing methods? First, is first is the inconvenience of the private key management. In electronic signature technologies, medical personnel must manage the private keys safely and execute their electronic signature to access the electronic medical record systems. If the medical workers misplaced a private key or the medical person lost their private key, he or she must go through a reinsurance process. This just like we need the password to access our account. If we lost our password, it will cause a lot of trouble to access the account. So these are aspects of the system that require improvement, both in terms of security and convenience. The second problem is the threat to electronic or medical record system communications. The threats may be happened during the period of time that the direct communication is opened for the purpose of communication with the public certificate authorities, such as during the certificate insurance, certificate acquisition, or certificate status check. Furthermore, if a malfunction occurs during the communication concerned, the systems cannot be accessed, which is not suitable for the fault-tolerant characteristic of the medical systems, and this will decrease the efficiency of the system. The third problem is that private the private key delegation. As we know, in the electronic signature technologies, medical personnel delegate private key insurance to the RE operation due to close characteristic of the electronic medical record systems at the certificate insurance stage. Also, there is a probability that a dispute over medical treatment may occur due to medical personnel delegating the private key to another person or nurse. Therefore, medical persons are not the only party that possess private keys, and this increases threat to security. All above is all above is the problems that exist in electronic medical record access control systems that are based on the electronic signature technology. The next section of this research is about the model of finger systems. This system need two process: finger register process and the fingerprint authentication process. First, is about the fingerprint register process, and here is the flow chart for the register process. Totally, there are 6 steps to finish the process. The first step is scan the fingerprint. In this step, medical personnel scan their fingerprint on the fingerprint sensor, and then provide the fingerprint image. The quality of the fingerprint image is checked before sending it to the server. This step is just like our registration to email email address. We need to create our password and account name, and then the system will check if the account name has been used or not. And the second step for the register process is request the registration of the fingerprint. In this step, the system requests the electronic medical report record system to register the fingerprint, and the fingerprint image of the medical person is sent to the server together with their personal information such as their ID and password or other information. And then the third step is transmit the fingerprint information. The electronic medical record server sends the requested profile information and the fingerprint image of the medical person to the matching server, and then in the matching server it will extract the features of the transmitted fingerprint image, and then save it in the fingerprint database with the profile of the medical personnel, and this will be required to use when the person may be asked for the request for the authentication. And the fifth steps, and I combine the fifth steps and the sixth steps. They to the fifth steps. These 2 steps is just the feedback registration result. The matching server transmits the result of saving the profile information and the fingerprint information of the medical person to the electronic medical record server, and then the electronic medical record server sends the result back to the medical personnel, and that is the process of fingerprint registration. And the next is the fingerprint authentication process, and here is the flow chart. This process also has 6 steps. The first step is similar to the register process. It needs the medical personnel to scan their fingerprint on the fingerprint sensor, and then it can provide the fingerprint image. Also, the quality of the fingerprint image is checked before it's sent to the server, because if the fingerprint is blurred, and this may be cause cause unmatch for the medical personnel. So it needs a very clear fingerprint to be matched in the matching server. And the second step is request for authentication, and still it will send the medical person's information such as ID, passwords, or their height, or weight, and also the fingerprint image to the electronic medical record server, and then request for the authentication. And the third step is checking ID and password. It is in the electronic medical record server to check the ID and password of the medical person, and then request the fingerprint authentication to the appropriate matching server. And the matching server extracts the feature of the fingerprint image and perform 1 to 1 or 10 to 1 matching comparison with the fingerprint feature that corresponds to the ID. Yeah, of course, if the matching result is within the threshold value, the medical person concerned will be authenticated. But if it is failed to match the authentication will be denied. And the fifth step and the sixth steps are feedbacks authentication result. First, the matching server sends the matching comparison result to the electronic medical record server, and then the electronic medical results record server sends the result to the person medical person. And mm, and and this is the two process for the fingerprint systems works. After that, the research shows the telemedicine frameworks. The telemedicine framework is based on the telebiometric system mechanisms. As we can see in the picture, the yellow color belongs to the x.tsm. The x.tsm is the biometric authentication protocol that processes 9 model. Depending on the template management and the biometrics authentication location, and the blue section is referring to the telemedicine field, which is adapt. As we can see in the picture, the sensor sends to the client, and client sends to server, sends request to server, and the server will get a feedback to the client and back to the sensor. And then is shows the authentication model. Here's the table presents the authentication model for the biometric reference, the template management, and comparison location for each client, server, and TTP. As we can see, in the local model, the client compares the research. In the research, it is cited in the local model. The client compares the captured data with the reference data, and transfers the results to the server end. In the download model, the client end downloads the reference data and then compares it with the captured data. The result is transferred by the client end to the server end. And this is the comparison sourcing by client model. As we can see the picture, it is the verifier sent to the registered user template and the request of verification to the client terminate. It compares the acquired sample data with the received template, sending the result to the verifier. At last shows the conclusion of the research. As we can see in the table, the fingerprint recognition is better than the electronic signature, because it can providing more convenience for the medical person than the electronic signature technique, because because everyone cannot lose their fingerprint. They will never be worried about if they can't access their medical account when they're in the hospital. And also, fingerprint recognition can guarantee appropriateness for electronic medical records, private network characters, and they can also preventing right delegation. Then anyway, people cannot lend his or her fingerprint to others, and that is the that is about the that is about the research. Thank you for listening.